Erev Tov Hoda Sharon. Good morning, Houston. Greetings to friends of Israel and the America-Israel friendship from throughout the world. My name's Wayne Firestone. Greetings. We're happy to have you here with us celebrating Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. They deserve love more than one day a year, but we give them this special tribute, and that's why we have chocolate shops, so we could give them love 365 days a year. It should be Mother's Day every day, and we should be bringing them chocolate. That's one of our themes today. First and foremost, for those of you here with us celebrating, whether you're near or far, put in the chat the name of a mother who you want to send the love out to on behalf of Mother's Day. We're happy to share the greetings and to share the great spirit of Mother's Day and appreciation, everything that comes with it. So feel free to put the name of someone in there. And I actually want to begin with an additional question to sort of start us off and get in the right mood for this webinar today. What is the best Mother's Day present that you've either given or received? So it's not too late, you know, even in Israel, you have a few more hours. Here, it's you know, we're getting near brunch time, so on the East Coast. So, you know, you still got a little bit of time to pick up some ideas, even on this webinar today. Send some love to a mother that you want to express appreciation for. Send some ideas now about great Mother's Day gifts. Now, we already have a comment in the chat from Jean in Raleigh asking if there are going to be samples today of the chocolates, and unfortunately the answer is no, we haven't figured out that technology yet. So you're going to have to just make your way to either Eben Gvirol or to Schenken, and you'll find out why. If you want to sample anything that we're going to show today. And with that, I'm happy to share that we have greetings now coming in from Clearwater, Florida, from Long Island, New York, from Jerusalem, of course, from Ottawa, North Carolina. We, as always, bring together a wonderful friends of Israel from all over the world, from New Jersey. Godiva Chocolate's a favorite for New Jersey, actually an annual present. It appears we have folks here from, we have Happy Mother's Day to all the EMAs. I think that's technically the emote, but we'll take EMAs too. We'll take greetings from Hartford, Connecticut, from Pennsylvania, and for everyone that's going to join us throughout the day with their special Mother's Day greetings that we're receiving from all over. So our special treat to you today is to talk chocolate. And, you know, there are lots of different days and ways to celebrate chocolate, but with us today is certainly an expert on chocolate. His name is Elie Tarrab. He's got a big smile on his face because he hands out chocolates to people all day. I mean, talk about a great job. Elie, you didn't start off giving away chocolates, but at some point you figured out that's a great way to make people smile, including in your own family, who I understand are part of the great enterprise known as Cardinal, the name of the chocolate store that you're broadcasting live from Tel Aviv. Which has now grown and doubled in size, even despite all the challenge. So, Elie, welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about Cardinal, and we're excited to have you here with us today.
I'm very happy to be here. I hope you can hear me well, along with the noise of the machine behind me. Hopefully it's fine. As I said, my name is Elie Tarrab. I started around 20 years ago. Or actually, it depends when you start to count. But as a teenager, I used to work in Ben & Jerry's branch in Haifa, where in my hometown. And as a kid, I worked in a branch, and there was like a little recipe book that they used to sell, and I was too naive to believe that this is the actual recipes that they use for making the ice cream, but it was for home users, like a recipe book, and I started making some recipes out of it, but there was a specific flavor I wasn't able to produce because it was the toffee crunch, and there's the English toffee Heath bar, I think it's called, that wasn't available in Israel, not then and not today. So I decided I wanted to make this. I will need to produce the bar itself, and I started my own investigation. And back then it was a little bit more complicated because the internet uh, was not as established as it is today. So it was very difficult to find what this product is and how to make it. And after I found the recipe, I started experimenting, and over time I succeeded making the center of the candy, which is like it's like a butterscotch eventually. And over time, I wanted to give it the thin the coating of chocolate. Um, and as a kid, I didn't know about tempering. I don't know. I was explaining what's tempering is over the webinar, but I didn't know about that back then. And just melted chocolate and tried to spread it over, and the chocolate didn't set well. And didn't understand why. I thought you could just melt chocolate and spread it, and it will set over time or refrigerate it or something like that. But it didn't quite work. But I set it aside for a few years. As you probably know, at the age of 18, we go to the army in Israel. So it's kind of like I took a break from that particular field in my life in that period. And actually, and I like a year before I demobilized, before I finished the serving, I got my sister and mother bought me like a 2-hour course for chocolate. It was a young chocolatier in Haifa that opened the shop for. She ran like 1 year, and she opened the shop. And during that time, she gave some courses, and I received the course, a 2-hour course. In that day for my 20th birthday, I think, or 21, don't remember. Maybe it was 21. No, I think one of them. But anyway, I went to the course, and I didn't really didn't really understand most of the subject, but I understood that you can't just melt chocolate and mold it or work with it. You have to run it through a process called tempering. You have to heat it and cool it in a certain manner in order to form crystals that will set the chocolate right, like make it crispy and shiny. So after I took this course, I didn't really understand much, but as my character is to self learn whatever I want, and this is how I did. I started experimenting, and over time I studied this process and how to do it correctly. And this is like my cornerstone of my business. I started making this specific candy, and there was a little deli in Haifa, which were a friend of a neighbor. We were introduced, and they really wanted to sell this product. I started selling them this product, and over time they wanted to it sold well, and they wanted to put more products and more fills. We continued with the filled chocolates and tablets and chocolate bars, etc. And back then I think I was like 21 or 22. I started. I opened some chocolate stands in a few cities, like in Haifa, in Tel Aviv, in Hod HaSharon, I think, or not Hod HaSharon, in a mall. Once a week, I was traveling with my Fiat Punto. I also built a chocolate machine with my brother. We had, I don't know where we had the skills from, but we were able to make a chocolate tempering machine. It's a big chocolate tank with a big wheel that rotates, and it cools the chocolate. It keeps stirring the chocolate, and you used to transfer it even to chocolate festivals or wherever we went. And after 2.5 years or so, I decided I wanted to either to put my business to a test. So it's either I decided to open a business. I almost opened it in Haifa, but eventually I moved to Tel Aviv to do so. And I opened it in the age of 24. It was very different from today. And my brother also helped me to renovate the place, and we did lots of the construction ourselves and carpentry. We started running I started running the shop, and over time, each time I progressed, I was able to buy more machinery and renovate and buy new packaging and to progress and to develop. I don't know.
That's a great. That gives us an idea of certainly how the origins of your love and your passion for chocolate, and we're going to explore on this program both how it played out with your chocolate stores, and there are already people who are interested in joining and coming to visit you there. But for now, we have a little video that we're going to put up to let people experience some of the sites. We'll take a little tour. We know there's some background noise. We apologize for that, but we wanted to actually bring you live in the storefront. So now we're going to bring up the video. You'll see a little bit about the store, and then we'll talk more afterwards.
Okay. Nastya, את זה את מסיימת את
Somewhere
Elie, I think you have us all at chocolate, but tell us. I mean, it's so clear from sharing that this is an art as much as it is a business, as much as it is a culinary um, enterprise. So much attention, so much love is put into creating the product itself and crafting it into something that's special. Can you speak about that aspect of this? This is you're not in a huge industrial center. Your kitchen is right there. We're going to do a tour a little bit later. We're going to actually see how you make chocolate live. But tell us a little bit about the artistic side of creating chocolate.
Okay. I also want to say you saw on the video the first machine I built. I forgot about this video. It was shot like 10 years ago, so I forgot about it. The place is a bit changed by now. But anyway, it's kind of a dispute. You call it art because I think it's a mix between skills and we use art to make our product. It's not an artistic product. I think that art itself has less borders, and we have we have many restrictions for us to make our product. But I think it's a form of art in a way. But chocolate itself, it's also a culinary product, and along with it there is all the atmosphere and the packaging and the design that complements it together. It's had to be like harmonic. Everything had to be harmonic together. If afterwards I'll show you a chocolate box. Inside there will be it will be fitted with the 15 chocolates, and all have to be in the same in the spot. It has to be hard for me to explain it in English, but it has to be, all have to be organic together. The chocolate in the box, in the bag, and the shop, and the whole atmosphere have to be for us, for the product to work. It has to work as an organic to say it. It's all part of what we sell or what we do. It's not that we only make a culinary product. It's the whole atmosphere and all the products around it.
So at some point, actually, one of our viewers has already found it on Amazon, but you decided to write about this enterprise of yours, and you took on a very ambitious title: chocolate, chocolate, and more chocolate. So
almost correct, but it's really not my choice. Not my. I didn't pick that name actually. My name is on the bottom written there by Elie Tarrab, but it's kind of I didn't publish it myself, and they chose that name. But yeah, inside you can find this book. It was a very small publisher in Israel. I don't think it really took off in Amazon. There's a huge competition and many big names. But what I did wanted in that book, which I wrote like also around 10 years ago, it was for the reader to actually see recipes and be able to execute it by themselves, because normally you can see chocolate books that are really composing and many complicated processes and complicated ingredients, and I really wanted for the home user reader to see these recipes and be able to produce it quite easily, because chocolate can be very complicated and I wanted to simplify it.
Well, I know you're going to show us some example of what the process looks like, but before we see how you do it with chocolate,
Yeah.
one of the interesting things from your background is that you started with a different substance as a goldsmith. So
Yeah.
tell me how one goes from the process of being a goldsmither to a chocolatier, and what
in a way it makes no difference. When I was in high school, I studied, went to a professional school in Vitzo in Haifa, and we studied Goldsmith or metalsmith, I don't know, whatever, and it's also starting by taking a raw unrefined object and reforming it. The workshop is quite similar because most of the day it's messy with lots of tools and lots of tools and lots of kind of debris of one kind. Our is edible, but you melt it and you form it. You have to understand the qualities of the material, and you shape it to a final product. For me, chocolate is easier to send off to a customer because I will always make new ones. And when I was making jewelry, my biggest project I think was pomegranates for Torah book, pomegranate set, which was my final for my exams, my final exams. I think it was my project. So I made the silver pomegranates. I wish I would have brought a photograph of it. But it's like two silver pomegranates that you place on top of the Torah book. And I after high school, after the high school and when going to the army, I kind of left it aside. I always had my workshop at home, but I left it aside. And after the army, I decided what I wanted to do. It was either that or chocolate, but I was afraid of opening a jewelry shop because first I didn't have the budget, and second I was afraid of being burglared. So I decided chocolate is less tradable.
Well, now that you're in a different commodity, you've been doing this obviously for many different years. Can you tell us a little bit about the evolution of the business? How it started. We already have a first question about where the name Cardinal comes from.
It's bizarre. Okay. First, my business actually it started when I was home. Again, around 21. I had a small workshop in my older sister's room where she left home by then. And I started the business back then. And it was I think 2001, and I think in 1999 there came up a movie of a director I really like who influenced me named Tim Burton, and the movie is Sleepy Hollow. Whoever saw it maybe is amused as I am, but I took from the movie, I took the atmosphere, I think, and influenced me by, I first designed my packaging and my logo. And if you saw the movie, you know why I chose Cardinal, because it's a symbol that come across the movie in several scenes. And there is also because I was a goldsmith, I also dealt with the wax seals. I was producing my own wax seals, like with the engraving. So I produced the wax seal, and in this movie you can also see it starts with the wax seal. So also influenced me, and I wanted to have a logo that you can emboss in wax. So this is what you can like stamp it. And my first packaging, we used to handcraft it. We hand wrap it and with washi paper, and we sealed it with a wax stamp. Also one by one. That's not really practical today. But this is how I started in the living room. My mother laughed at me several times. We back then IKEA opened in Israel, and I went there, and they sold like washi paper for really cheap, and I bought like a stack, and then when it was finished, I went back there to buy more, and they didn't have it anymore. I was like crying. I didn't know how would I wrap my tablets back then, but I managed to provide something else.
When you talked about seeing a movie that influenced you, I thought for sure you were going to say Willy Wonka.
No, actually, the movie Chocolat was also launched back then, the same period. I think it influenced lots of people also. Maybe it made it look easy. If you go to a shop, you renovate it, and it's more complex. After all, you have license, and you have to go through more complicated processes to open a shop. But
so why don't we start with the chocolate process, because that's really a special thing that I know you wanted to be able to show today, an example of what it looks like to create chocolate. And I don't know whether we're going to say don't try this at home or not, but either way, we want to demonstrate it. And one of the
improvise with whatever we do in this moment. I'll give you a small tour in my shop and explaining what we do on a daily basis, how our every day looks like. So I wanted to also say that around 2 years ago, we opened another shop in Shankin Street. It's run by my sister and my wife. Say there are two different identities. So, and they came along my business. My sister is, I think, maybe a decade or so. She's been working with me mostly behind the scene. We produced to a really big chain in Israel, a corporation called R2M. It's more known as the Brasserie and Hotel Montefiore and the Delicacies. And Shankin is where they produce all of it, and also to their shop. And here we produce mostly for ourselves. So our kitchen is really, really, really small. You can fit it in the screen. This is the newer version of the chocolate machine, which tempers the chocolate. It's a bit low on chocolate, but it melts it.
That's a good thing. That means you're making a lot.
I think we make around 20 or 30 kilo per day. I don't know if it's a lot or it's small, but this is where we are today in this shop. And it's a continuous machine, so it pumps the chocolate from the bottom. It cools it as it goes up, and then it goes through this pipe. You can see the temperatures. It cools it as it go through the process. We have our chocolate molds, which we use. We use, if you know chocolate, there are two basic methods. One that is making the chocolate shells like this and filling it with a filling and sealing it on the top. And there's the other way around, when you make the center and you dip it with chocolate.
Mhm.
Two techniques to have a similar product, but each one has its own advantages. We use mostly this method. It's called the Belgian method, using the molds. This is this is the area where we mostly use for cleaning. This is a chocolate box that we make with all sorts of inclusions inside. It's either almonds or hazelnut or pop rocks. Special is toasted buckwheat. It's not. Don't be afraid. It's not healthy. It's fried in butter before and salt. The famous English toffee is missing for this particular moment, but it soon will come along in a few days. The gianduja, which is Italian-based, it's Italian hazelnut. The recipe is basically Italian. It's hazelnut from Italy with chocolate, either dark or milk, and we make cubes and we enrobe them in a special technique. We enrobe them with chocolate and dust it with cocoa powder. We have a white chocolate version with the Italian pistachio. This is very unique. It's dark chocolate with olive seeds. It's the inner part of the pith. It's caramelized with milk chocolate. It's a crunchy and it tastes like black olives. And you have the bitterness of the olives along with the bitterness of the chocolate. They work really nice together. This is also gianduja. It's hazelnut paste with milk chocolate and crunchy wafer. And these are marzipan. We enrobe them one by one by hand. Also, we use Spanish almonds and German marzipan. This is what we do when we run out of space, or if I take all the kitchen for myself. We spread the chocolate on the showcase, but normally it's clear and you can see through. We have I think there are 30 flavors or so of chocolates. We always develop and make new flavors and new recipes and improve our ingredients over time. We're able to do so because our volume are going up and up. I think every year, and I use it for buying, sourcing, and getting better ingredients, and able to do so. I'm glad for that. And we have new molds, and these are a new range of printed chocolate, which I designed, and I custom made the mold to suit my box. This is the box we have today. It's meant to fit 15 chocolates, and they all have to be. So what I was talking before, they have to fit inside the cavities, inside the blister tray. It's plastic leather.
So you manufacture your own trays and packages based on the individualized.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, it's like it's a process that you make the chocolate to fit the package, and you make the package to fit the chocolate, and everything have to fit the bags, and we produce everything. So everything has to fit together, and we also produced years ago these tins which I really liked. So I first decided I wanted these tins, and then I decided what I want to put inside. But I really wanted just to place them on the counter, on the shelves, and this is a Cardinal that one very talented employee of mine left us as a gift when she went to the army. She and saw. I don't know the technique of making crochet.
Crochet.
This is our cash register, and this is the bags. We try to improve our processes over the time, but I think we are always unlike some business more commonly that businesses quality is deteriorating over the years, and we try only to improve and give better value and better product for our loyal customers.
So Elie, let me ask you, we're starting to get, from the very beginning, we've had a lot of questions from the audience. So I want to make sure we are able to get to as many as possible. One of the questions is about the source of the ingredients.
Okay.
How much of the chocolate do you have to import, the actual chocolate itself, and then the tosafot, the different additions that you have?
Okay. We in Israel, we are not part of the European Union. We use a French, famous French chocolate called Valrhona, which is situated in the south of France. They manufacture for the top brands in Paris and for Michelin-starred restaurants, and we are lucky to have the ability to use that chocolate. When I started working with chocolate, they were just imported to Israel, and because I think it's the most expensive chocolate available in Israel for sure to buy. I started working with this and also Belgian chocolate, and over time I managed to switch working exclusively with Valrhona chocolate, and so this is our main ingredient. And they produce also hazelnut paste and the wafer and all sorts of additions, and decoration and crunchy clothes and sorts of products. And we work with hazelnut from Italy, which there is an ice cream manufacturer who imports them for himself, and we buy from him. And almonds we use local. Actually, unfortunately, we don't have the ability to buy local so much because Israel is not an agriculture producer of what we use. We use more tropical. We need tropical environment to have our products are basically made in the tropical areas, and it's not Israel. For now, it's I think we only use the local almonds. I think are And we also use essential oils from all over the world. It's either orange flower blossom, which is actually famous for being like a Mediterranean related. So we use it. I try to over. I want to say that I think when I over the years I want to try and find more local ingredients or things that are Mediterranean related to emphasize my relation with my surrounding, with either my country or my city, but it's quite difficult. So.
Well, let's talk a little bit about we have a lot of questions in terms of how you go about which decisions you make on the various different ingredients that you use. First and foremost, you're competing against people who can sell chocolate for mass manufactured chocolate that they make in Switzerland or they make anywhere around the world, and they send it out. So what's the difference? One of the early questions that we had was about what is it taste alone? Is it the shelf life of fresh products? What is it that should encourage someone who wants an excellent product as opposed to buying just a candy bar of fine chocolate?
Actually, it's a very fine question, because it's not that it's because it's handmade it's good. You can make an industrial product handmade. You can use the lowest grade cocoa beans to make handmade chocolate. I don't want to waste my my skills or my time on low grade material. Like and the chocolate industry, I think it probably true for other industries. It's based on commodity cocoa, which has its own price, and we have the big companies who keeps the price stable for many years, and in which they dictate the price for the farmers, and then the farmer have to you set them a budget, and you say within that budget you have to give us cocoa. So they in a way they're able to do so, but it comes in the cost of first there is labor and taking advantage of farmers, and also in terms of the product, if they need money like urgently, they can pick the cacao not in the right time. It can be underripe or overripe, or under fermented, over fermented. There's a few processes which they can cut corners and still sell cocoa, but in low grade. So if they are dictated to a certain level of pricing, you're probably going to get a low grade cocoa. And we are not buying directly. Maybe this is another goal of us, maybe the coming years. We are not buying cocoa directly from farmers, but we work with Valrhona, who are employing their own farmers and having their own lands, and allegedly pay them better and give them better terms. You can definitely see it in the product. You can see it. For us, we use chocolate as raw material, but it already went through lots of processes that influence it for being either good, high qualities or bad qualities. It's either the genetics or the way it was treated, how much time and skills were put into it. And
And
this is the raw material. Then we only receive it and we melt it when we do our part. And it's our choice to what you put inside and what it can be other our skills that makes us better or worse, and it's other our choices of products which we use.
we had someone asked the question about sugar. Is sugar always added or added at a certain stage? And do you make are there chocolates made without sugar?
I think that today we are struggling with sugar-free chocolate. Our answer for it, because Valrhona also make sugar-free chocolate, but they use maltitol, and this field for me is sensitive because I grew up in a family with a diabetic father, and I'm sensitive to this area, and I know that maltitol is not a good choice for whoever wants to avoid eating chocolate. It's just another form of sugar. So we come across with erythritol, which to my knowledge is a better substitute, but we can find chocolate with erythritol. So what we do is what we do is this is a specific chocolate we do import ourselves, and it's very difficult. We imported 100% cocoa liquor from Madagascar, from farmers who grow their own cacao and make it chocolate, and we imported it to Israel, and the importing was very expensive, but we got a very unique chocolate which is not as bitter. The cocoa bean, if they are as better quality as it goes, the bitterness is more subtle. So we use they manufacture from really good cocoa beans. Their bitterness is more delicate, and the toasting is light. And also, if you have bad cocoa, you want to give it a good dark roast to eliminate odors and bad or moth or molds or bad characters. So this is a light toast, and when we make we grind it up together with the erythritol. We make 80% content chocolate with 20% erythritol. This is our answer to sugar-free chocolate, and also we mix it also with hazelnut paste from Italy and make it like cubes.
So the other question we're getting about ingredients, several people are asking about kosher, whether or not any of the chocolates are kosher, or what the process is for those who keep kosher.
We use kosher chocolate, but we don't possess a kosher certification. It's mostly because we do work with cognac, which I know it's not kosher, but I think this is maybe our only product which is not kosher in the shop. We gave up on kosher because Valrhona is not. They don't have kosher for Passover, and it's either switching from different raw material or switching or closing down on the Passover, and decided we cannot do that in this state, and also in our ability to produce. It's funny to say, but if we had kosher certification, we would have higher demand and we wouldn't be able to meet them. But it's kind
Interesting. And do I recall, Elie, that you actually shut the stores during Passover?
No, we don't.
They do stay open, but it's not kosher for Passover.
On the Chol HaMoed, no.
Okay. Sure.
And we work according to the Jewish holidays. We close on Shabbat and holidays.
And do well, I mean, I guess the big question people are asking about, what we know that Israelis love chocolate and love to eat chocolate, but what are the most popular items
Items.
you find are
I think over time I was focusing on the caramel and its color range. I don't know how to say it, flavor range. I think caramel is very interesting for me. I actually started with kind of caramel. The English toffee is a form of the caramel. It's and what's very interesting about the caramel that what you always have to fertilize it with something. You can't just make caramel. It doesn't taste good. You always have to balance it, add something to it. And if it's the English toffee, it's butter that enriches it and makes it brittle, and the texture is very interesting. We have chocolate filled with ganache made with dark caramel, which we really burn off the caramel, the sugar, to a state where it's really smoking. The shop is full of smoke, and it's really bitter, but balanced with sweet chocolate, and it creates something new. We either balance it with yuzu, which is a Japanese citrus, which is very interesting, or with salt. Of course, it's the most common addition to it. We have also butter in the form. We toast the butter, we caramelize the butter, which it's in English it's called the brown butter, or in French it's beurre noisette. And you can see it actually on my recipe book. I published it because I didn't want people to copy me, so I published the recipe. So this was my technique.
Well, that's an interesting business technique. It's certainly a very transparent one.
Yeah.
We're coming up on the end of the hour. We do have. We put in the chat Ibn Gvirol Shishim, number 60, Ibn Gvirol, or Shankin, Esrim V'Sheva, 27 Shankin Street. Those are the two different branches of Cardinal that we hope, as people are coming back to the streets of Tel Aviv, if you want to go to two really, really cool parts of to walk around Tel Aviv, you are in prime location, as many of our viewers know. We hope you'll come in and say hello to Elie. Elie, somebody said they thought they. I'm sorry.
Shankin has really took off in the last 2 years. It was around the time when we opened. It became like a really culinary boulevard. They opened really small, cool shops after a long time where that street was abandoned. So now it came alive, and it's one of the funnest streets to tour now in Tel Aviv. Now that the touring season is just beginning, I think it's something to keep in mind.
Well, absolutely, a great way to experience Israel is by walking around the streets of Tel Aviv and sampling local made products. Now people should add chocolate to that list, and you've got two different locations in Tel Aviv that you can check out. You've a book by an Israeli chocolatier who started as a goldsmith. So if you want the Midas touch of gold in your chocolate, definitely check out Chocolate and More Chocolate. And but it's one thing to read about it. It's another thing to talk about it on a webinar. It's another thing to really go indulge and enjoy it. So since today is Mother's Day, whether it's your mother or someone else's mother you want to give a special treat to, maybe find a way to do that with chocolate. We want to thank Elie for joining us live and for taking us behind the scenes into Willy Wonka's chocolate factory on Ibn Gvir. And as we sign off, before we sign off here, we will not be back next Sunday with a program. We'll be next Wednesday doing a program with our very famous modern art gallery tour guide, Gabrielle. So we hope that you'll come back to us on the 18th of next Wednesday and join us for that next webinar. But before we sign off, many of you know us through our over 50 years of bringing delegations to Israel and Israelis to the United States. Obviously, we've been on a hiatus for some time being able to do that other than virtually, but we have the hopes that the new travel restrictions will allow us to bring delegations. And our signature program that started us in this journey of over 50 years now is the Youth Ambassador Student Exchange, known to many as YASI. And we have a very sweet taste for you now to leave you with Mother's Day greetings from our youth ambassadors that are intended to arrive in Israel this fall. And they will stop first for falafel and next to visit Elie either on Shankin on Ibn Gvir for some chocolate. So we want to wish everyone a very sweet Mother's Day. Thanks for being with us. Take a look at these sweet voices of high school students from the United States that are planning on coming to Israel as part of AIFL's YASI program.
Happy Mother's Day! Happy Mother's Day! Yom Ha'em Sameach! Happy Mother's Day! Yom Ha'em Sameach! Happy Mother's Day!
It's great to be with everyone. Have a safe rest of the week, and we look forward to seeing you as always on our webinars. Happy Mother's Day.